These next guests are superhero royalty. They are Marvel's Inhumans. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
Now, break this down for us, because the Inhumans are perhaps not as known a quantity as X-Men or the Avengers. This is a show about a family of superpowered people who live on the moon. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
I
So
mean,
far, so good.
It's a story about a family, and in particular these two brothers, who are vying for power for a city that each of them has a very distinct way of how they're going to rule their people.
There's some family disagreement there.
Yeah,
But
quite
there's
a bit.
dysfunction in every family, though.
Hopefully that's the reason why people are watching.
Yeah. So, Anson, you play Black Bolt, and your superpower is that you have a very powerful voice, but if you were to use it, you'd destroy everything around you. So you've chosen to be mute.
Well, that's what I think is cool about the Inhumans is that unlike a lot of other superhero stories, their powers are so well thought out that oftentimes they're more like a burden or a handicap. But what I like about Black Bolt is that he's aware of the power and the danger of his own voice. So I think he's immediately endearing for that reason to have a leader that understands what his voice could do.
It's unusual for the protagonist of a television show to not speak,
Is it?
right? I can't think of too many.
It certainly was one of the challenges during casting, and I think one of the things that we so admired about Anson from the beginning was that he embraced it. Like he came to it and said, because we made it really clear, like, you're never going to talk. It's not going to be a flashback.
You have
There's
the least
no-
amount of lines.
Yes.
Yeah.
But he had in an odd way, the hardest job, because not only did he have to get what was going across clear, but he also had the opportunity to be able to act, to pick a word, without having to have the words in order to do it. These guys got it easy. They had words.
Oh, yeah.
We had words.
Only had a few.
So many words.
It must be kind of a bummer for Black Bolt. 'Cause nobody's telling Spider-Man, like, don't go shooting your webs or you'll destroy the world. Every other superhero gets to use their powers. Black Bolt doesn't get to. But it must be an interesting challenge for an actor.
It was. I had a signing consultant, but it was a lot more straightforward than I thought it was going to be. I borrowed a few rules from ASL, but I couldn't use ASL because we're not from Earth, so we wouldn't know ASL. And I just created my own glossary lexicon on Google Docs that I keep to make sure that I'm consistent. And it was a challenge for Serinda too, because she wanted to know. She acts as my translator, and she wanted to know what I'm saying, which makes sense. But it was good because it forced me to get my homework done so that I could send it to her and be clear about it.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Serinda, you play Medusa.
I do.
Very close
Yes.
with Black Bolt.
My husband.
Yes.
Yes.
And so Anson had to create his own sign language, and then you had to learn this sign language.
Yeah, so we started off, he was in there first and he would learn it, and then I came in and sat in on a session so I could get a better understanding for it. And then each night I'd get a video and it would be him doing the signing for me, because I had to be able to speak to our audience, to our people, but I also had to make sure that it was timed correctly. I needed to know what words he was saying, because I was saying his words. Like he communicates, but silently. So I'm the one who has to bring the voice to it. So it was really interesting dynamic as an actor to make sure that, I'm also supporting the other actor for how he wants to say it and things like that. So every once in a while I'd be like, hey, Anson, will you read this for me? So I can understand, the cadence and the inflections, how he would say it.
Sure.
Because our characters have been together for so long that
Right.
this is second nature. Serinda wants to do this and be like, okay, Medusa's out, and just sort of like, she can do it all on her periphery.
Yeah.
It's really interesting.
Well, so in Medusa's power is she can manipulate her hair.
Yes.
And I know while you're shooting, you wore a wig that's going to be augmented with CGI on the show. So.
Or magic. We have
Or magic.
Or augmented with.
That was actually
magic.
the reason why they cast me, is because I have magical
just have
powers.
the-
Yes, I
Gotcha.
naturally have the hair that
Took
does
them a long time to find an actress that
yeah.
could wield magic, but they actually.
But they found it.
Yeah, it was good. The trailers that we've seen haven't given us much of a glimpse of you using your hair. I don't know if you can give us any sort of hint as to what we can expect on the show.
No, that would be the part
That would
where
be-
you have to see the show.
Exactly. I think that's the whole part, because it's so exciting. It's something that even I haven't been able to see, and so for being an actress doing it, you really have to just kind of imagine what it's going to be like, because it's prehensile. So it's the same as your arms, it's the same as your legs, or however you do it. So it wasn't something outside of my body. It was just imagining what it would be like to just have magical hair.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited to see it because I hear pretty great things.
And Ewan, you play Maximus, Black Bolt's brother, and the villain. Is it fair to call you the villain?
I
Evil
don't.
brother?
No, I mean it's an interesting one. I think that's what we were kind of going for very early on, is the idea that Maximus has very grand ideas for the people of Atalan and how he wants to change things, and how he feels that there's a lot of injustice going, and they have a sort of caste system, which is you get when you go through your Terrigenesis to get the power that you end up with. That then gives you your level in the caste system. So he thinks that's completely wrong, and he feels that the people are being treated terribly, and they have to go and live down the mines basically. So his idea is that these people deserve better. So yeah, I mean, it's easy to look at him as a villain, but I think one of the great things about Marvel shows and the characters is that it's very difficult to define, a baddie. You know what I mean? So you get a lot of different shades of these characters, which I think is what will create a more intriguing show to watch.
And I think that one of the reasons that Black Bolt hasn't kept Maximus around just because he's his brother. He's kept him around because he is the constant devil's advocate, and he's smart. And when you look at his ideas on paper, they're actually quite good. He might be abrupt about the delivery, but he's an extremely good advisor.
We tend to think of him not as a villain, but more as an antagonist.
Okay.
And that is if you're on Black Bolt's side. What's wonderful about it, particularly in the first 2 hours, is that you're not entirely sure that he's wrong. And you're not entirely sure that Black Bolt's right, but that doesn't mean that either one of them is right or either one of them is wrong. That's something that the audience is going to have to find out.
And there's another important member of the team, Lockjaw, I believe.
Yes.
And Lockjaw,
Who can appear
Out of nowhere.
anytime
Ta-da!
like that.
and be there.
This is
Oh, look
actual
at
Lockjaw
you.
from the show.
This is an actual Lockjaw from the show.
Yes.
It is nothing short of extraordinary what our friends at Double Negative, or DNEG as they're known, it's an effects house, have created an entirely CGI character who all of them had to react and act with.
Yeah.
There was often a large, just so everybody understands, this would be the size of like his paw. Like
Sure. Yeah.
there's a 2,000-pound bulldog running around that they are acting and reacting to, and it's he's unfortunately going to steal the show.
Oh yeah. He's
Upstaged by dogs again.
amazing.
Not just dogs, imaginary dogs.
Imaginary dogs. Teleporting imaginary dogs.
Well, Marvel's Inhumans is going to debut in IMAX on September 1st. Is that
Extraordinary,
correct?
yes.
What makes
First
it
2 episodes.
What makes it a good fit for the IMAX format?
Well, the idea from the very beginning was to present television in a different way so that you could come out from the clutter. I mean, just here at San Diego Comic-Con, there's hundreds of shows that are vying for your attention.
Sure.
To be able to premiere the first 2 episodes in IMAX and be on the big screen, Hawaii in particular is a character in the show because the Inhumans wind up there. It is a world, they're very much fish out of water. So we get to do jungle, we get to do beaches, we get to do volcano, we get to do the city of Honolulu, and so it really lends itself to the beauty of that, on top of which the extraordinary moonscapes, the outer space part of it, all of that going into, and yet still in a very grounded way. And yet the story still, because it's about a family and because it's about how they interact with each other, it will lend itself beautifully to ABC when we premiere on September 29th.
It sounds like you're doing a lot of cool, different things in the Marvel Universe, so we're very excited to see how it all turns out. You on the other side of the screen, stay tuned. More to come from IGN Live at Comic-Con. Coming up next.